everybody, it's Zach again, newtutorial.com. I wanted to come in and make a quick video. I had made videos in the past where I've talked about a number of edible plants that you can eat that's outside your home. And I said that it's good for you to know at least 5 plants outside your home that you can eat, or outside that you can just step outside your front porch or your backyard and find to eat. And so I've done that video before. Look it up. It's in my archives. But I wanted to continue on that. Today we're in spring. This is springtime here in the Midwest, and there's just all kinds of food that's coming up outside in your front lawn and out in your backyard that you can eat. And so let's take a look at just a couple of those real quick, since I've easily identified just a few of them. You may know of these already, but you may not. Most people consider what I'm about to show you are weeds, and they call them throwaway plants. So let's take a look at these. Right there is a dandelion. Now this plant you can absolutely eat. There's all kinds of things you can do with this plant. From the leaves, if you get this plant when it first comes up, you can eat the leaves. The young leaves are really good. Now, if you eat the leaves that come up after the plant has already flowered, they can be very bitter. So you can still eat them. They're not poisonous, but you may want to have to boil them first or blanch them really well before you can eat them. But the young leaves, you can absolutely eat these before the flower comes up. And the flower itself, I'm going to try this, I think. I'm going to go ahead and collect a bunch of these, and you can actually then make these into a batter, and then fry these, make a fritter out of them, batter them, and fry them. And I've heard they're really tasty, so we're going to try that here in another video coming up shortly. But dandelions are a great food source. Also, the roots, if you pull the plant out of the ground. Everybody's got their motorcycles out today, playing with their toys. If you pull the roots out of the ground, you can dry those roots in your oven and then make those into coffee, grind those up and use them in your percolator, your coffee percolator, and from what I've heard, they make a great coffee. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do with the dandelion plant. It's very edible, and it comes out definitely in the spring. They're everywhere right now. They're just all over the place. Okay, here's another one. Now, this is what a lot of people call onion grass, okay, and they're just all over the place this time of year. And I mowed my lawn, and I let these grow. And let me see if I can pull these out. Right there. Okay, these are onion grass, and the later you wait, you can eat these now in the spring. What you basically do, you chop them off at about this point right here. About that point right there, and then clean them off, wash them off, obviously trim off the little tails at the end there. But these are great. I just had some of these last night in my, the other night, a day and a half ago in my chili. We made chili, and I cut these up, and I put them in my chili. It adds a great flavor. But the flavor increases, to me at least, it seems that the flavor increases as time goes on. So if you go ahead and eat these in the later summer, or even getting closer to the fall, if you let your onion grass grow, the flavor seems to increase, and you have almost like a mix between garlic and onion flavor all in one plant. So it's great, and definitely edible. No worries there, but try those sometime. Definitely an edible plant. You can, and when I've read, they're very nutritious. There's a lot of nutrition inside these plants. So that's what I did. I put these in my chili the other night, and they were great. So there you go, onion grass. I'm going to take these inside, actually. And I got one more inside that I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, so here's what we found this morning. These are called Morel mushrooms, and I look for these every year. Some years I get luckier than others, and some years I just come up completely empty-handed. But we found these this morning while out looking around in the woods, and these are just absolutely tasty. These are called Morel mushrooms. So we'll cook these up later today and have those. And there's a recipe that I have in my archives on how I make these, And so check that out when you get a chance. And we'll talk about the Torah and mushrooms in just a moment. But these are another spring item that you can find that are very plentiful this time of year. If you find these, you can absolutely eat these. There's no mistaking these. These don't look like any other mushroom that you're going to find in the forest. So if you find these are absolutely edible when you find these in the woods. So okay, great. There you go. There's your third one.
Okay, so we just got in, and I want to talk about the morel mushroom a little bit more. There's a big controversy out there among Hebrew roots, Torah observant believers, and even the Jewish community of what are we allowed, according to the Bible, to eat mushrooms. And there are some people who are absolutely like, no way, we cannot eat mushrooms, these are not a clean food. And there are some people who are like, absolutely we can, why couldn't we? Listen, just going through the Bible and knowing what I know about it, and just reading it and studying it, I cannot find anywhere in my Torah or my Bible that says anything about any restrictive foods when it comes to plants. This is a plant, okay? It has spores, and the modern scientific classification of this would not include it as a plant. It would call it a fungus, but it grows in the forest. It grows like everything else in the forest. And the biblical classification of this would just be something that grows in the forest. There is nothing in the Bible anywhere that has any type of restrictions on plant types. There's nothing I see. Only type of restrictions that we find in the Torah are pigs, different types of animals, birds, insects, things like that. There are no set of restrictions on anything, absolutely anything that has to do with a plant that I can see or that I have found. Now, we know there are some plants that we can't eat because they're poisonous. They will kill you. They will, make you sick. But as far as morel mushrooms go, and other types of fungus, there are no restrictions, no restrictions on plants whatsoever. So if you can eat it, I would absolutely suggest that there is nothing wrong with eating it. It is not a sin to eat it. It is not unclean to you. I can't find anywhere in the Bible where it would say otherwise. So, morel mushrooms, I look for these every year. It is another type of plant that you can find in the spring that you can eat, absolutely. It is spread by spores inside the plant, inside the fungus, that fall to the ground and then make more mushrooms later on. In my opinion, that's a seed-bearing plant with the biblical classification. Science today classifies it otherwise, but I see no restrictions whatsoever on any plants inside the Bible or the Torah. Anyway, there you go. That is my morel mushroom hunt. Dandelions, onion grass, and morel mushrooms. Be on the lookout for these things. There's all kinds of things this spring, right now, outside your door that are growing that you can eat. And I think it's good to educate yourself on what those things are so that if you ever needed to take, if you were ever hungry, you could still step outside your door and feed yourself and feed your family. I think that's important to know in these days because things are getting crazy, folks. And it's always good to be educated and to try new things and to get out there and actually do something rather than read about it on the internet or see someone like me on a YouTube channel talking about it. Get out there and do it for yourself. And most importantly, go home, read your Bible. All right, thanks. Talk to you later.